everybody. Is Tuesday, June 3rd, and today I want to talk about a very controversial figure. He's been in the gatekeeper of Egyptian archaeology for over 30 years, and really this guy is just an amazing guy that he survives three dictators and military coup, and he's still the head of the Egyptian, and he was the head of the Egyptian antiquity for a long time, sometime, and he was a former, also a minister of antiquity, and he takes this mummies and take tours in Europe and America, and it's like a drive-through tourism, take this priceless antiquity and King Tut or mummies or very rare, very precious piece of history, 3,000 or 5,000 years old, and I'm sure there is insurers and there is experts that are taking this, taking care and taking a good care of this pieces when they move around. But Dr. Hawass, he is, a rock star in the West, especially in America, and he is the only one talks about antiquity. He is a face of Egyptian archaeology. He can't do anything without his permission, any documents, any BBC, CNN, National Geography, all this major media outlet, they cannot go to Egypt and do anything without his permission. During the time, he's probably out of his uh, element now, but he's coming a grand lecture tour in U.S. and Canada for 3 months, May, August, and as at their website of this royal evening, they call it royal evening. This exotic. This is how the West look at Egypt or the East, or it's just a secret and ancient Egyptian secrets and the royal evening. It's just like people are not real. They just this is come in and talk about ancient Egyptian secrets. People talking on, when they talk about Egyptian and Egypt and walk like Egyptian, and you see this movie, and they think those ancient Egyptians still living. If they go to Egypt, they're gonna see them on cafe and walking by the pyramids, and this is a dead history. There is nothing. I lived in Egypt, and I go to Egypt almost every year or every other year. This is it's a dead history. There's nothing left. I mean, people don't marry their sisters. People don't walk like Egyptians. I mean, Egypt now it's an Arab Muslim country, and culturally looks, and they are very different. But you talk to Americans about Egypt. Oh, I love the pyramids. I love to see the pyramids. I saw the mummies. They don't talk about living people, and they don't pay as much attention to living Egyptian as did Egyptian. But anyway, uh, Dr. Hawass was on an interview with Joe Rogan's, and this guy also a famous podcaster and has his own show, talks about usually, sensational show, talk about, uh, kind of media hype about about things. He's a good guy. I mean, he knows how he's a bit personal and good interviewers, but you don't go to Joe Rogan's show to learn anything. It's just an entertaining. And I don't know how Dr. Hawass ended up on that show. That show that was viewed by millions of people, but Dr. Hawass was the king of ancient Egyptian antiquity, the spokesman, the face of Egyptian archaeology. He looks very confused, shaky, contradictory, defensive, and eccentric. He sounds like what Joe said after that is one of his worst podcasters. He sounds like he discovered everything. And when he is sitting with his cigar, and I don't know what the idea of cigar. I've never seen him, with the cigars. He can't even smoke. It looks like shisha or a hookah. It's like he's sitting hashash that way. And then, it's just basic questions cannot answer. Who built the pyramids? This question been raised thousands of times, and a lot of theory and expert and science and try to figure it out. And this guy it's in my book. It is, where is your book? It's on my computer. Where is it in the computer? It's Las Vegas. It's just a little kid. So it seems like Dr. Hawass he's not accustomed to somebody challenges him because he's the only one can talk, and people avoid him. People don't want to challenge a guy, and so when Joe challenged him on some of his question, he was just surprised at somebody's thing, and he just couldn't say anything. It's like we should take his word for it. We cannot challenge him. But anyway, that's just a media entertainment hype, and everybody's talking about it now. And everybody has Egyptians are the one who really uh, they have a beef with Dr. Hawass. They kind of uh, up to arm about the disasters interview, corruption, and all of that. And there's so thousands of video that's made about this interview, and there is the video just summarize the blunders of that interview, and I'm gonna show it to you.
Are there photographs online?
Yes, in my book.
Boy.
I don't go online. If you can come to my lecture
Oh, come
in
on,
Houston,
man. Well, what about right here? Do you have it on you?
in my computer
Where's your computer?
in Las Vegas, but I can send it to you before.
Yeah,
you,
but I want to show it on the show.
can you come and introduce me here in Houston?
Can I introduce you in Houston? No, I cannot.
Why?
Because I'm very busy. But if you believe in magic,
I do.
so you believe that someone could take someone's head off, put it back on.
It's written.
Okay, then it must be true.
Yeah.
All right. So you don't believe in ancient civilizations capable
No.
of advanced construction.
But, Joe,
you don't believe
Joe,
in aliens.
Joe, I
you
am
don't
a-
believe in
I am-
God.
What I'm here to talk about is I interviewed Dr. Hawass when he came here in Minnesota in 2011. It was right after the revolution, like few weeks or whatever. I'm sure the tour was planned before the revolution. But anyway, the tour was a King Tut tour, Science Museum in St. Paul, Minnesota Science Museum in St. Paul. So I went to see the the show. I went to see the exhibit, and as I'm walking toward the Science Museum, the building, there is. I saw this biggest poster just taking the whole front of the building, Science Museum building, excuse me, of Dr. Hawass, with the Indiana Jones of American media, with his cowboy hat. Next to him, Suzanne Mubarak, She was just toppled. Her husband was toppled a few weeks, and there was something disclaimer under her picture saying all the funds generated from this exhibit will be given to Suzanne Mubarak Foundation. So, my goodness, millions of people protested and were willing to give their life, and thousands died to topple Mubarak, her husband, and she's now all this money, millions of dollars from this exhibits and tours all over America. It's gonna go to her foundation, and Susan Mubarak was, accused, or, allegedly accused of looting Egyptian treasure and wealth, and she had to give back 25 million donated by international community. She was putting all the money that generated from her so-called activity was pocketed in her private account. Dr. Hawass was allegedly accused of using his connection with the Mubarak family to accumulate a lot of wealth, and million. And, for a lot of Egyptian, this is all we know. That Dr. Hawass is a corrupt official and opportunistic, and a lot of documentary, a lot of reporting about his alleged corruption and claims and accusation and trials and from embezzlement, stealing, and whatever. Foreign Policy magazine reported on his this fashion line, Dr. Hawass, where he, use tubes and kind of putting posters of places that he shouldn't be a camera there. Once you have a camera, you have lighting, you have people moving around. And one time, he moved a piece during a shoot of his promotional fashion line. He broke a very precious pieces, and it shows on a video. But anyway, I was furious about having him, and having him right after the revolution in America and Minnesota Science Museum. And so I called them up, and they explained was planned before, and we're gonna work on changing the name or moving the poster or whatever. But they didn't do anything. So I've started during this time, talking about more than 13 years, 14 years, like a digital intifada, and call on people to protest and call on Science Museum to cancel this tour. But and one day, the day of the presentation of Dr. Hawass, I received calls from a few Egyptian, never heard of them. They asked me to call off the rally and protest that I called for, and I said, that's not my role. I just made people aware of what's going on, and they can do whatever they want. And then suddenly I got a call from Dr. Hawass himself, the king. And he talks like, Dr. Ahmad, and I know we're doing this for Egypt. Why you want to do this? He talks like a student that he finding excuses for missing, his class or homework or whatever. And I explained the concern, and the community were concerned about this. And he said, we are doing this for Egypt, Dr. Ahmed. And nothing I can do, Dr. Hawass. And I keep telling him I'm not a doctor. I'm, just media reporting things. And we hang up and then calls again, few hours. He calls about half a dozen times in one day. And what can I do for you, Dr. Ahmed? I just, Ahmed, and I can give you VIP tickets. You can come and watch me if you see my lecture. He's always thinking, even on Joe Rogan's show, if you come to my lecture, it's like his lecture is going to explain everything and his personality and his fun and people are going to love him. He cannot even entertain the idea that people might not love him. He's just full of it. But anyway, and I said, Dr. Hawass, there's nothing I can do. I cannot call off this protest, this rally. It's out of the bag. But what I can do for you is, I can come and interview you, and you can just say whatever you need to say, explain yourself. Hesitated a little bit, and then for him that was option, the good options and best option he have. So he kind of agreed, and we met. Before his lecture, I went to Science Museum, and there was security. There were I don't know FBI. I don't know what the protocol is. Police cars all over the building. There was nobody rally. All the rally was online. Nobody showed up. The head of the Arts and Exhibitions International, Mark Leach, I think that's his name. He's I don't know, vice president of Art and Exhibition, and introduced himself and took me to the green room, and we waited to Dr. Hawass, who came dressed up and came to, greeting me like we are old buddies and hugging and all that. Anyway, he's a personal guy. He just, it's all about him. And at that time, he was the Minister of Antiquity. Um, so anyway, we sit down and talk to him, talk a little bit, and we ask, I start asking him about why is he like a rock star in the West and especially in America, but in Egypt, he is accused of so many things, and a lot of Egyptians don't trust him and don't think he's like the dictator of antiquity, part of the corrupt system. And so I asked him about this allegation, corruption, embezzlement, and all of that. And then all of a sudden he said, "No, this is all rumors from this Coptic man." This Coptic man, he even mentioned his religion, who hated me. It's all about him. And I said, "Just one man? I can mention you a few others." Yeah, yes, one man. He just talks to us like we agree that we should just not question that kind of bullshit. And he used this language too. He used shit and he used asshole and he used those languages appropriately, like I just did. Anyway, but I'm not getting into. I don't have the all this. There was all allegation. He probably Sisi exonerated him, or all this allegation was dropped out, so he can work. And probably this guy has a lot of uh, a lot of insights about the corrupt regime, and you don't want him on on your enemy list. So probably he made up with Sisi regime, and now he's free. Uh, you know, uh, and he can tour around with his on his own. He doesn't represent any official capacity, in any official capacity, or on his own. And those company, they take him as a brand name. His people still when I hear about dead Egyptian and ancient Egyptian and antiquity and are using this guy and he's using them, I don't know. and they making millions of dollars, and we don't know where all this million goes. And but anyway, so and I asked him in an interview, why you are the only one, you are the only one who could speak about Egyptian antiquity and Egyptian, and history and ancient Egyptian history and all of that. Why can't someone else, do you train any young uh, students, or he teaches his institution there, or whatever? Do you prepare other people to take over the helm when you go, and they can speak about these things beside you? I said, Dr. Ahmed, I tried, but nobody can do it. God gave me this special gift. What can I do? I just have this gift, and he actually believed that. I'm not doubting this guy. He's lying, or he actually believed this. He actually believed he is God-given gift to talk about people who don't believe in God, and talk the he talk about he's like the custodian of ancient Egyptian history, antiquity, and whatever he say is science, whatever he say it's true, whatever he's just an old school. He doesn't, he still cannot accept the fact there is technology and there is other narrative and a lot of theories about who built the pyramids and how the rock stones moved from south, left, or how they built it. This is, now people are serious about, and they use technology, they use science to figure things out. They scan the pyramids. They get in to see what's in it, how it, and he's still in this ideas of analog. It's just like that's his idea. There's nothing can shake it. So, but anyway, we finished the interview, and then I went to see his lecture. His came, of course, this friendly audience that they coming to see the king himself, being funny and joking about uh, Clinton's big butt, and he just is like with his, and people love that shit. They just laugh, and nobody asks really serious questions, and he'd say whatever he say, not challenges, and it's just a bizarre. He's just like rock star came to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and people who really the people who came, you don't get the feeling they want to know much about serious about knowing what's going on about ancient Egypt or ancient Egyptian, or they just there to see the king. And that night, the 3,000 old King Tut was overshadowed by the new king, Zahi Hawass. So this is just, when I've heard about his tour and his interview with Joe Rogan's, and a lot of people talking about this interview and the disasters, and how could this guy held the head of Egyptian archaeology for over 3 decades, will be that incompetent, confused. The guy knows a lot, and don't take me wrong. Dr. Hawass knows a lot about Egyptian technology, but he looks at knowledge as his. It's like Columbus when he discovers something, it's his. Now America is ours. We discover it. So when he discovers something, he gives a feeling that it's not really a discovery. It's like he found it, he made it. He has something to do with it. It's for him. It's a personal affair. It's a revelation, and so he was exposed. He was finally the rise of Dr. Hawass. all these years ended up on a 1.5 hour show. Let's show some snippets from the interview I had with Dr. Hawass on 2011, and when he came to science museums on King Tut tour. And antiquity for so long, you always hear you telling the story. It's like, but when we go back in Egypt and we read what the people say, you have an image problem. What is this gap between what people think the image and the Egypt?
You mean in Egypt?
Yeah, an image.
You know, I have to tell you one thing. You haven't been in Egypt. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm loved by every people in the street. After the revolution, a man at the museum shop, and this man is a Copt, but he has money laundering. Mm-hmm. And I made a shop that everyone could love, for Egypt. Mm-hmm. The man wanted to have the timber, and because his money, he can take everything. The money lost the timber. After the revolution, he hired people, 2 people in my department, to say anything about me. In a time of revolution, you can say anything about anyone. You don't need to prove. Then those people began, through the support of the money of this man, to make rumors against me. Of course, if you don't know me, as you do, you will never know. Yeah. But when you meet me and see my work, people change completely. Then this man really was causing all the problems.
Just one man.
One man, but he hired many people who he paid them. But if I am corrupted, if I am bad, I will never be in my job again.
You won't be here.
I am famous by my adventure clothes. Everyone knows
very
that.
Stylish, yeah.
Now because I'm giving a lecture. Yeah. But this clothes became famous.
Yeah. Yeah, the casual one.
But people are jealous. Yeah. Then they switch the story and they say things not true. But who gave 1 penny to children in Egypt? Who? Those are assholes. And they are stupid. There are people who should really be punished because they don't love their country. They love their own. They love to have money for their own things. But I do things for my country.
I'm sure a lot of people, and I think that's also the language that Mubarak used. I'm using my country, and he was a dictator for 30 years. So the fact that you're using Egypt, that's what I'm doing, I really appreciate that passion, but doesn't mean people cannot question some of the things.
I question, I answer, yes. But you have to know.
I finally asked him, you've been the face and the voice of Egyptian antiquity and Egyptian ancient history for over 30 years. Can anybody else talk about Egyptian antiquity and archaeology beside you?
Can I tell you something? I sent, through my connections, 20 young people to America, Europe, to take doctoral degree. In Egypt, I say yes to 1% of the TVs. I sent all the people. I told them many good things, and I have in mind I have in mind good young people, truly. But I can't teach them this passion. I can't. What can I do? If you come to the Antiquities department, you see how much I'm making 1,000 Zahi Hawass. Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, if God gave you a gift, you cannot teach this gift.
Sharing.
I do share them. I teach them. I tell them to do this. What can I do?
Obviously, that special gift given to Dr. Hawass by God did not help him on Joe Rogan interview, and it seems it's a sad story, and I think the man is just it's just a different era, and it is an end of an era, and hopefully that is the fall of the king, and we'll see other young Egyptians that they believe in technology. They're not self-centered, and it's not all about them. It's all about telling the story of Egypt. We'll see you next week, and that's all the rant I'm gonna have. Support, like, share, do all you can. We will appreciate that. Thank you.